Stealth is a part of gaming that I really love. From actual stealth games like Metal Gear Solid to the stealth suit build I've made for myself in my many hours of Fallout 76. Stealthing around, sneaking and hiding is something that I love to do in video games. When I saw today's review game on the eShop, I didn't even know it was a stealth game. It looked like a really cool style and setting and I wanted to give it a go. It being stealth was just icing on the cake. Now let's dive into this underrated mobile stealth game that has gotten much higher recognition on PC, PS4, and now a handheld console. Here is my review of Republique Anniversary Edition for the Nintendo Switch. The story of Republique takes place in a totalitarian state. You are contacted via cell phone by a young girl named Hope, or 390H, as her caretaker demands that she call herself. She desperately asks for help from the people holding her captive that are going to recalibrate her and take away who she is. The plot then follows you hacking into the facility's security system and leading Hope to safety. Now the story here is very good. We have Hope wanting to escape, but a load of mystery about this place, why it's in the very controlled state that it is, whether or not it's actually the only livable place left in the entire world, and more. The further I went and saw more of the facility, the more questions I had, especially once the really big and crazy stuff happens in chapters 4 and 5. It's also a story of discovery. You get some vague explanations for parts of this world from the main story, but there are absolute loads of info and lore found in side areas and mostly voiced collectibles that weave together some of the more disturbing truths about this world and its characters. When it comes to gameplay, this is a third-person stealth game with a load of puzzles. As you trek through the facility, you'll lead Hope around guards and hop security cameras as you solve various puzzles to get her where she needs to go. Now, being the Anniversary Edition, this is the full package of Republique with the console DLC. This game originally released in episodes on mobile platforms, but all 5 are thrown in here along with most of the DLC costumes from the console release. You've got the 4 different difficulty costumes, with only the Gravity Rush one being missing, still exclusive to the PlayStation 4. Main progression in this game is all about exploring and sneaking. You guide Hope through the facility as you grab items needed to get to the next area while sneaking around guards that patrol each room. But how you do this is very unique. You, the player, aren't actually there with her. Connected via cell phone, you are hacked into the Republique's security system. You can control Hope and move around, but hop from security camera to security camera, swiveling the angles around to watch for patrolling guards. This is a very convenient system as you can stop time with hopping around cameras and see where exactly Hope needs to go, how many guards there are, where hiding spots are housed, and more. These cameras move around in a very old school survival horror way. As Hope moves from room to room, you can either freeze time and manually shift cameras, or the game will do it automatically. It feels very much like how the fixed camera angles worked in the old Resident Evil titles. She walks through a corridor and then you're on a different camera, needing to move around and find where Hope is in relation to continue directing her. You can also do a lot of hacking from the camera view. You can zoom in on various items to learn lore bits about the world, or hack into lockboxes to give Hope access to items that she can defend herself with. You've also got a lot of locked areas that you can't access until later on. As the story goes by, you upgrade your hacking software at terminals, slowly getting access to where you need to go, but also the ability to go back if you want to enter those previously locked areas. Now, we did go a little bit into the items that Hope can use, so let's talk about what she can do. As far as stealthing around goes, she can crouch walk to make less noise and pickpocket items off of guards. These items will sometimes be collectibles, like the mini floppy disks hanging around the game to reference a wide array of indie titles. But you can also get defensive items like pepper spray or tasers. Pepper spray is especially useful as when equipped will let Hope immediately defend herself when grabbed by a guard, being yet another little nod to the Resident Evil franchise, very similar to the Resident Evil 1 remake's defensive knives. Though if she does get caught, you're taken to a nearby holding cell where you've got to unlock the door for Hope and try trekking through the area again. But these holding cells are useful. They function as save points, will often house items for Hope to add to her inventory, as well as data broker terminals. This lets you use lore you've discovered in the game to basically sell the data on the black market to acquire abilities for you to use with hacking. This could be as simple as causing a distraction to lead a guard away from Hope, or as technical as pinging guard and item locations on the map. It really emphasizes you to not only go out of your way to learn more about the world, but using that lore to enhance the gameplay. These abilities do have a cost though. They take away battery charges from Hope's cell phone and it will eventually run out. But being a stealth game, let's talk about difficulty. On its own, Republique is a pretty doable game. The stealth is easy to get a hold of and the patterns for enemies are not that hard to follow. You simply watch their pattern, wait for them to pass, and sneak around to where you need to go, occasionally jumping into a locker to make sure that they get completely past you and you don't get caught. Honestly, I rarely even had a need for the taser or pepper spray outside of 1 or 2 rooms in the entire game. The difficulty of this game doesn't come from the stealthing, but from how the camera works. The fixed camera angles feel nostalgic, but it can be infuriating. Some areas will have constant camera changes even seconds after one another. It also feels a bit tank control-ish, you needing to keep your input exactly the way it was when the camera changes to keep Hope moving in the same direction. There are so many places where she can easily get turned around from just control confusion, giving the guards just enough time to catch up. And that brings us to content and length. Over the course of the normal difficulty, I managed to clear the game in around 11 hours. For a sale price of $15, that's not bad at all. Though it's worth noting that there isn't really a post-game outside of replaying for a different path in episode 5 and just searching around to find all the collectibles. Next up is presentation. Visually, it looks pretty detailed and good overall. The visuals also don't drop when you go into handheld mode, so it's gonna look good no matter what. Performance, I found no issues with. The load times aren't that long, and the frame rate is nice and smooth from start to finish. With that, let's get into the really nice battery life. Republique gives the original model a range of 4 hours and 32 up to 5 hours and 15. The Nintendo Switch Lite gets a range of 4 hours and 56 up to 5 hours and 58. The Redboxer V2 2019 model gets a range of 5 hours and 19 up to 6 hours and 40. And the OLED model gets a range of 5 hours and 26 up to 6 hours and 54. In conclusion, Republique is a solid stealth game set in a mysterious and crazy totalitarian state. Now, on the downside, the camera system can get a little frustrating and dating with its constant fixed angle swapping, but it's a great little game with a ton of mystery behind it, finally on a proper handheld system. Reviews to Go rates Republique Anniversary Edition for the Nintendo Switch a 9 out of 10. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below. Thank you for watching and have a great day.